Here is your entire passage converted into a single, coherent paragraph
Wait.
without altering its meaning. Something has gone dramatically wrong with the sun, not suddenly, not catastrophically, but inevitably. After billions of years of stable fusion, during which it steadily converted hydrogen into helium at its core, our life-giving star reaches a critical point. Its fuel supply is running dangerously low. This is not the result of an external event or sudden collapse, but the natural culmination of stellar evolution. Like all main-sequence stars, the Sun is bound by the physics of its own composition and the limitations of nuclear fusion. As the core exhausts its hydrogen, it contracts under gravity while the outer layers expand. The Sun, once a relatively calm and stable yellow dwarf, begins to swell dramatically in size. It transforms into a red giant, a phase that will last for several million years. During this transformation, the Sun becomes hundreds of times larger than its current diameter. Its outer envelope balloons outward, its surface cools and reddens, and its gravitational influence overpowers the inner planets. One by one, the orbits of Mercury, Venus, and eventually Earth are engulfed by the expanding photosphere of the dying star. Earth, the cradle of humanity and all known life, is consumed in fire. Long before this moment, however, life would have ceased to exist on our planet due to the increasing heat and radiation. Oceans would have boiled away, the atmosphere stripped, and the surface scorched beyond recognition. Any remnants of civilization, ancient or modern, would have turned to dust eons before the final moment of engulfment. As the red giant phase continues, the Sun becomes increasingly unstable. Its once orderly fusion now gives way to chaotic pulses, with its outer layers undergoing cycles of expansion and contraction. These violent convulsions cause the Sun to puff off massive shells of plasma and gas, ejecting huge volumes of its atmosphere into space. These expulsions are not mere flares, but massive outbursts, each one potentially larger than the Sun's current diameter, filled with ionized particles, radiation, and heavier elements formed during the final stages of fusion. Over time, these ejections coalesce into intricate, expanding clouds, forming the early framework of a planetary nebula. These glowing remnants, illuminated by the core's intense ultraviolet radiation, will gradually evolve into an immense, fluorescent nebula, a breathtaking cosmic cloud of glowing gas, stretching light years across, visible from thousands of parsecs away. It will shine like a celestial beacon, casting its hues of purple, blue, green, and red across the void of interstellar space, a cosmic tombstone marking the death of a once-living star. For any future observers in far-flung regions of the galaxy, be they alien astronomers or distant civilizations with technology advanced enough to peer back at our solar system, this nebula will be a silent but radiant testimony to the life and death of a star that once bathed 8 planets in light and warmth. Its presence in the Milky Way will join the ranks of other nebulae formed from stellar death, the Ring Nebula, the Dumbbell Nebula, and countless others. Eventually, the central fusion reactions fully cease. Without the outward pressure of fusion to resist gravity, what remains of the Sun's mass collapses inward, compressing under its own weight. The core, now composed mostly of carbon and oxygen, no longer supports fusion. It contracts into a white dwarf, a stellar ember roughly the size of Earth, but with half the mass of the original Sun. This dense, cold relic glows faintly, gradually radiating away its residual heat over trillions of years. It is no longer a sun in the traditional sense, no light-giving fusion, no active corona, just a dying ember of stellar matter, surrounded by the ruins of its former glory. This white dwarf will be incredibly dense, so much so that a single teaspoon of its material would weigh tons on Earth. It will no longer produce energy, but will glow from the immense heat left over from the Sun's former days. With time, it too will fade, ultimately becoming a black dwarf, though this phase lies so far in the future that no black dwarfs are believed to currently exist in the universe due to its youth. In its final form, the Sun, once the giver of life, the anchor of the solar system, and the clock of all time on Earth, is reduced to a lonely, glowing cinder. All that remains of our home system is this quiet object, orbiting the galactic center in a lonely spiral. The once vibrant planets are gone or drastically altered. Mars, having narrowly escaped engulfment, may remain in its altered orbit, now locked in a new and chilling proximity to this white dwarf. It becomes the closest surviving planetary companion, a frozen world likely stripped of any remaining atmosphere, its red sands preserved in eternal cold. Perhaps the asteroid belt, Jupiter, and the outer planets still orbit distantly, although their fates depend on how much mass the sun lost during its red giant phase. Orbits may widen, moons may break away, and some objects may drift into interstellar space, cast loose from the gravitational grip of a diminished solar corpse. In this new cosmic arrangement, the solar system is no longer recognizable. The planetary dance has ended, and what remains is silence. No solar wind blows, no flares erupt, no auroras shimmer. The drama of stellar life has passed. The nebula continues its journey outward, slowly dispersing into the interstellar medium, carrying the elements forged in the sun's core into the galaxy to become part of new stars, new worlds, perhaps new life. The great cycle of stellar evolution continues. What was once our sun now contributes its atoms to the broader cosmos. Hydrogen becomes helium, helium becomes carbon and oxygen, and those elements are passed on. The carbon in our bodies, the iron in our blood, and the calcium in our bones. All were forged in stars like the sun. Now, the sun itself becomes a contributor to that cosmic heritage. Though long after humanity is gone, whether by extinction or exodus, the memory of the sun may live on in records, artifacts, or perhaps even distant descendants or artificial intelligence seated among the stars. But even if nothing remains to remember it, the matter that composed the sun will live on. It will be recycled by gravity, magnetism, and chemistry into something new. This is not just the story of the sun's death. It is the story of cosmic renewal. Stellar death gives rise to stellar birth. The atoms from the sun will one day find themselves in the atmospheres of new planets, in the fusion cores of new stars, in the icy rings of newborn worlds, or in the microbial life that may arise in alien seas. In the great silence of the galaxy, the sun's ending will pass without fanfare. But the galactic ballet continues. Somewhere else, a star is being born. Somewhere, another red giant is expanding, another white dwarf cooling. And somewhere, perhaps, intelligent beings are wondering what fate awaits their own sun. Here is the entire passage converted into a single, continuous paragraph. Even as the white dwarf quietly radiates its final heat, time continues to stretch into unfathomable scales. Millions of years pass, then billions, trillions. The nebula, once brilliant and beautiful, gradually fades as its gases disperse into the vastness of the interstellar medium. The colors vanish, the symmetry dissolves, and all that remains is a thin mist of particles, blending with the dust and gas of the galaxy. Yet those particles do not vanish into meaninglessness. In the universe, nothing truly ends. It is merely transformed. The atoms from the sun, from Earth, from every vaporized world, will one day join other clouds of matter to give rise to new stars. Some will collapse under gravity to form solar systems of their own, complete with planets, moons, asteroids, and perhaps life. Our sun, therefore, becomes part of something larger, its existence woven into the tapestry of stellar generations. The energy that once illuminated Earth's skies and powered photosynthesis, the radiation that warmed oceans and gave light to human history, is not wasted. It becomes legacy, a cosmic inheritance passed forward through time. Even the orbit of the remaining white dwarf continues silently around the center of the Milky Way. It completes one galactic revolution roughly every 225 million years, circling endlessly with the debris of its former planets. These remnants may be joined by countless other stellar corpses, white dwarfs, neutron stars, and even black holes, ghosts of a galaxy that has witnessed birth and destruction on incomprehensible scales. The transformation of the sun reminds us that all stars